Hey, I'm going to show you a really cool way that I found to add lots of cool liquidy movement to any basic synth sound. So it sounds like this. So yeah, pretty cool, I think. So basically, how this works is we're using lots of foley sort of sounds to um, to modulate the synth with the vocoder. So basically, how we get started with that is we'll make a new MIDI track and chuck a drum bus. No, not drum bus. Drum rack. Where's drum rack? There it is. And we're gonna chuck heaps of foley sounds into this drum rack. So the easiest way to find foley sounds is to find a good sample pack because a lot of us don't have the time or gear actually to make good foley sounds. So one that I found that's actually really good is Mr. Bill's Breaking Things pack. There's lots of cool sharp transients and crunchy sort of noises. So let's highlight all of those, chuck them in the drum rack, like that. This sample pack is on his website, by the way, if you want to grab it. MrBillsTunes.com, I think it is. Anyways, so we got all those sounds in our drum rack. Let's make a new MIDI clip and change our grid to probably about half notes, and then just click randomly, and then scroll up and down, click random places. There's other ways to do this, like you can do it with an arpeggiator and stuff like that, but this is actually kind of faster and better, I think, because you can actually move notes around and stuff if you don't like any particular hits after you do this. So, and it's not even that hard. So yeah, this is what we got now. I'll turn it up a bit for you. So yeah, nice, crunchy, sort of transient, heavy stuff. So now what we want to do is we'll just duplicate this track so we don't lose it in the process. Let's mute it, deactivate it. Then we're going to freeze and flatten this one here. Freeze, flatten. Okay, now we have got that. Let's duplicate that again and reverse this bottom one. So now we've got like heaps of nice crunchy transients, and they're all sort of swelling into each other with different sounds. So we got this now. Pretty sweet. So now what we need to do is sort our synth sound out. So let's just mute these for the time being. Create a new MIDI track, then add a whatever synth you want. Really works here, but I usually just use operator because it's quick and easy, but you can use analog if you don't have suite. It works just fine. So we're gonna make a new MIDI clip here and just make whatever sort of chord progression or anything you want. I'm just gonna make a simple polyrhythmic chord thingy. Yeah. Duplicate that out. Highlight all that, bring that up. Do a major 7, because major 7's a life. We'll make this top note a sort of polyrhythm feel. So now we've got this. It's a bit low, let's move it up. Okay, now we need to sort our ADSR out. And what I've found is that really fast attacks don't work that great with this because you get lots of these sort of clicks that I just end up trying to get rid of anyway. So if you don't like really loud clicks, then just bring it bring it out a bit. Let's bring the release down a bit too. That's probably fine. And now what we need to do, we'll take the filter off as well because we don't need that. Oh, actually what we need to do now is make a new audio track, chuck it on resampling mode, mute this operator, and then we're going to just bounce both of these into one track just so it's easier to work with. Yep. Alright. Got to turn them on first. There we go. Cool. Let's mute these ones, deactivate these. Okay, so now what we're going to do is chuck our vocoder onto our foley track. And then make sure enhance is on, make sure it's on external mode, and then route it to the operator. Make sure it's not on post mix or else nothing will come through. But now we've got this sort of sound. So what we can do now to make sure you can actually hear each individual note is, instead of having like a full sustain on our operator, let's bring the sustain down a bit so it's more of a pluck sort of sound, and then bring the decay down as well. Cool. So now we'll go back to our vocoder, and this is when you tweak all the settings. So kind of get a good sound now, so that your bass sound you're working with is good straight away, and it's easy to work with later on. There's usually a sweet spot with the depth, so like if you go all the way down to 0%, it's sort of more of the synth coming through. If you go all the way to the top, it's more of the transients of the foley coming through. So what I actually like to do here is put an OTT before the vocoder, so that all those little crunchy foley sort of sounds actually make it through the vocoder. And where is it? There we go. So yeah, now it's getting quite liquidy now. I usually like it around 130%-ish. And then you can also change these bands. So 20 is actually a good sort of middle ground, but if you go any lower, it gets crispier, which is actually quite cool. It's a little bit crispier. If you go higher, say if you go to 40, it's a lot smoother. I kind of like it on 12 actually. And also with these frequency ranges, the cutoff points, I usually bring the high cut all the way up, and then with the low cut, if you bring that up, you get this sort of like water pouring effect. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's usually a sweet spot for this as well. And then bring the amount down on the OTT to where you want it. And you can also duplicate the OTT and put it afterwards if you like that sort of sound. It gets really liquidy though, and then you basically it's only liquid. So you can bring the amount down on that as well. So yeah, pretty cool. And the other thing you can do as well is like modulate the formant on the vocoder with an LFO, which can sound really awesome as well. So we'll just drag the LFO in, and then click map, chuck it on the formant, and then just bring the depth down a little bit so it's not so wild. And then I usually bring the offset down so it's just sort of doing the first half of the knob. That's what she said. You get this cool sort of like old school record slowdown effect doing this. Bring the depth down a little bit. I don't know why my LFO glitches out sometimes, it doesn't show the waveforms, but it's on a sine wave at the moment. And yeah, that's about it, but you can also just, after you're done tweaking all the settings and all that, I might bring this out, amount down as well. Or up, sorry. You don't want it to be as liquidy, bring the amount on the second OTT down as well. And oh, I forgot to mention, bring the bandwidth, mess around with that as well. Get some cool sounds. See, that's like water in a tube or something. That's pretty cool if you bring it all the way down like that. Like 88% is sounding pretty cool to me at the moment. So you don't actually need to use Foley. You can also use drum beats. So let's just drag a random drum beat into this. Let's see. Yeah. You get more of a sort of beat sort of sound. But you miss out on some of the crunchy sort of stuff. See, when it changes to the Foley, it's kind of crunchier and more sort of random. There's more movement in it. But it's still pretty cool sound. And then you can also do stuff like actually use a proper chord progression. So let's just drag a random chord progression. What's this on here? This one might be right. So this chord progression doesn't have a lot of like a lot of the notes are quite long, so you might need to bring the sustain up in this sort of situation on the operator. And different chord progressions have a different effect on the vocoder. So like if you're a bit lower in the octave ranges, you get more of the liquid sound, but if you bring it up, it's more plucky and less liquidy. Oops. If we bring this up, it's still liquidy. Bring it up again. I like it in that octave. And you can also do stuff like change the waveform, which is what our original sound was. I think it was like a saw 8 or something. This sounds quite cool. Less liquidy though, less liquidy, but definitely cool. Saw 3 is cool because it's still kind of sine wavy, but a little bit of liquid is coming through. That was epic voice crack, by the way. But you can also do stuff like let's see, let's put it on saw 8. And now we can actually put like reverb and shit on it, and you end up with a really cool sound. Why is it not working? Oh, we're on. Make sure you put your reverb on the actual foley track, by the way. There we go. And then if we put a back on sine, that would be really cool for an intro. The other thing you can do, let's mute the reverb for a sec. You can put like widener stuff on it. So like if you put polyverse wider on it, it can sometimes sound really cool. You get more of the stereo width. The other option is dimension expander. Both of these are free, by the way. Where's dimension expander at? There it is. It's more of that Haas effect type stuff. Kind of like wider on this more than dimension expander though. Put the reverb back on, make sure it's after the width. It's pretty cool, and then you can put a auto filter on it. And like swell it in. And you get, see, you get all these little cool, like percussive liquid sounds. There's so much movement in it, it's really cool. Bring the resonance up if you want to go like fully into Liquid Town. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's the sound, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learnt something. I hope you use it. And yeah, thanks for watching.